The first red flag wasn't a subtle one. It hit like a door in the face. We were at a neighborhood bar, late Friday, her friends howling over some inside joke I was apparently paying to host. Alyssa leaned over the high top, reached across me to clink a stranger's glass, and told him loud enough for the booth behind us to hear. I swear, he's more like my hall monitor than my husband. She didn't glance at me after that. She stayed pasted to the guy's forearm like she'd been waiting to be introduced to it her entire life. The guy gave me that friendly we're cool right look. I slid my coaster away from the condensation and kept my voice level. Enjoy your night, man. He chuckled. All good, brother. Alyssa rolled her eyes. Don't be tense, Mark. We're just talking. You're performing, I answered. Huge difference. Her friend Kayla snorted. He's uptight. Always has been. I turned to Alyssa and tapped the table once, not loud, just a point on the board. I'm closing out. You can stay, call a ride when you're done. Tomorrow I'm not your chauffeur, and I'm not your warm-up act. That's controlling, she shot back. No, I said, standing. That's clarity. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have skipped the bar altogether and gone straight to the line I ended up drawing anyway. The next morning, I found her at the kitchen island, hair up, face buried in her phone, fork tapping a bowl of fruit she wasn't eating. The house was quiet in that way you pay for. Mortgage, lawn service, stainless appliances, the illusion that order will fix people. Morning, I started. She didn't look up. MMH. We're adjusting a few things, I went on, opening the cabinet for a mug. Effective today. That sounds exciting, she said flat. No more surprise group nights where I'm the prop. If you want to go out, cool, you plan it. You get there, you get back. We'll keep our calendars separate. I'll own my weekends. You own yours. Sundays are ours if you still want those. Are you scheduling me? She laughed once. I'm not a project. You've been running like one, I replied. If I have to guess, I'm done. She finally lifted her head. I need freedom without you tracking my steps. I'm not signing off for a hall pass at your desk. Then don't, I said. But I'm not signing off on being mocked on my dime. You're making a big deal out of nothing. We were having fun. You were collecting an audience. You brought me as scenery. She tilted the phone, screen flashing. You're dramatic. Kayla says. Kayla doesn't pay the bills here. She blinked. Offended I used the word. Bills. So we're putting a price on fun now. We're putting a boundary on disrespect. I set the mug down. Also, I'm splitting the checking for a while. I'll handle the mortgage and utilities. You cover your extras. I'll send a spreadsheet later. She stared like I'd switched the language mid-sentence. You're punishing me with money? I'm protecting my time and wallet, I corrected. You want late nights and rides and drinks with men who don't know your last name? Pick them or pick us. Not both, not at my expense. Men? Her eyebrows climbed. Don't start that. I didn't, I said. You did. And I'm not fighting you about it. I'm changing my behavior. She pushed the bowl away. You always do this. Build a whole case out of air. There are clips of the show last night, I said. Not air. We were joking. You were advertising. Her mouth went tight. I'm going out with the girls tonight. Don't wait up. You won't hear from me, I said. But you will hear from our bank. And you'll see the shared calendar is empty except for Sunday dinner if you still want it. She smirked. You think I'll notice? You'll notice. She lifted the phone. I'll notice when you calm down. I'm calm, I said. That's the point. She left the bowl, left the fork, left me talking to the quiet. An hour later, she posted a bathroom mirror shot framed so the ring wasn't visible. The caption said, out with the girls. Life's short. The comments clipped at the bottom of the screen like little hands reaching. I let the dishwasher drone to the finish and booked a Saturday at the shop I'd been putting off. If she wanted space to play free, I'd give her a stadium. At our company cookout the following Thursday, I expected basic civility. Burgers, paper plates, my boss Dana running logistics like she ran the quarterly numbers, direct and efficient. I told Alyssa she could come at 5 if she wanted. It was optional. She texted at 6 she was on the way, which meant 7. She showed at 7:30 like the party had waited for her. White blazer, loud laugh. Attention already orbiting her entrance. Jake from accounting handed me a water. Your wife arrived, he said, diplomatic. Yeah, I said. She's here. Alyssa cut through a circle of spouses, landed near a high table with Todd, a friendly guy who never met a boundary he couldn't treat like a suggestion. You're late, I told her, even, not an accusation. Traffic, she sang. I brought my charm to make up for it. Return it if you borrowed it, I said. Todd grinned. Man, you're dry. I like it. Alyssa touched his forearm for emphasis. Mark logs feelings in Excel, she announced to no one in particular. Pivot tables for romance. A couple chuckled. Jake looked away. Dana's eyes tracked across from the grill like a radar hearing static. I stepped closer just enough that the conversation had to adjust to me. Alyssa, you're a guest here. Don't use me as a joke. Respect the room. Oh, come on. She waved me off. They're laughing. They're being polite, I answered. Polite's not the same as entertained. Todd raised his palms. I'm gonna go grab another burger. Good call, I told him without looking. Alyssa scoffed. Are you embarrassed? This is a work picnic. Exactly, I said. Our names are on it. Dana slid in like she'd been waiting for her turn. Everything okay here? Fine, I told her. Alyssa brightened. We're great. Dana nodded slow. We're wrapping around 8. Mark, can you help me box the leftovers? On it, I said, then to Alyssa, if you want dessert, get it now. She stared. You're giving me instructions at a picnic? I'm telling you my next 10 minutes. I replied and walked away. Action beats arguments. Dana fell in step. She going to be a problem? Dana asked low. She's creating content, I said. I'm creating distance. Good, Dana said. For what it's worth. When I came back with a tray, Alyssa had repositioned with the spouses. I caught, he can be intense, float out of her mouth like she was tossing it to see where it would land. Hey, I cut in calm. Take it offline or take it home. She blinked, caught, irritated. You need to relax. I am relaxed, I said. I just stopped being available for public jokes. Starting now, no more +1 for work unless you build a track record of respect. If you show up and it looks like this, you'll be heading out. That's not a fight. It's a rule. She put on a smile that said she was suddenly sweet enough to spike a sugar monitor. I hear you, she cooed. I'll keep it cute. That's not the metric, I answered. Keep it respectful. We left early. In the car, she tried a soft landing. I overdid it, she said. It was a joke. They didn't care. They were watching, I replied. So was I. I'll fix it, she said, slipping her hand onto my arm. Coffee tomorrow? My treat. We can reset. We can have coffee, I allowed. And for now, no more work events. Earn it back. She nodded, the softest okay I'd heard in months. The next morning, she showed up with coffee and a muffin like we were a sitcom that solved tension with pastries. She kissed my cheek, a careful press, and I let it land where it landed. Then, while she rinsed the cups, her phone lit up on the counter. Kayla, club this weekend. Theme is throwback freedom. I slid the phone her way. Your planning just arrived. She dried her hands. Girl night. You're not invited. You wanted rules, stick to them. Enjoy, I said. Same rule. Your ride, your dime. She smiled like she'd gotten the last word. I let her keep it for 24 hours. By Saturday afternoon, she was in full pregame with the mirror. Different tops, different angles, the budget of a small campaign thrown at photos that looked like last week's photos with a sharper caption. I stayed out of the way. I worked in the garage on the shelf I'd said I'd build for months, with chips catching on my sleeves, the sound of the drill better than a dozen bad laughs. At 6, she appeared in the doorway, the kind of outfit that broadcasts distance. We're going downtown, she announced. Don't wait up again. Copy, I said. You're covered on your side? She rolled her eyes. I'm not 16. Prove it, I said. Turn your phone off after you post your arrival. Don't use me as your safety net. Why are you like this? She asked, more curious than angry. Because you want freedom without the bill, I said. That's not a plan. That's a hobby. She tilted her head. You sound jealous. I'm not jealous, I said. I'm bored. That landed. She hesitated, then went soft again. Look, I've been restless. Everyone's out. I feel stuck. I miss the energy. It's not about you. It becomes about me the minute you drag me into it, I replied. Keep me out of your show. Fine, she said. We'll talk tomorrow. Not if tomorrow is a hangover, I said. She left with Kayla honking from the curb. I put my phone on the counter and let the house be quiet. Around 10, my coworker Tori texted a link. Is this your wife? A clip of a story, shaky and loud. Alyssa on a lit platform with 2 friends, camera too close, faces too loud, Everything dialed to look like a celebration of freedom, when all I saw was the price tag swinging under it. She held her left hand up to the lens, slid the ring off with a flourish, and yelled, "Tonight, I'm single." The crowd around them cheered like they'd seen a trick. I watched the 30 seconds twice, because if you're going to step over a line, I like to see exactly where your foot lands. Torai followed with, "Sorry to be the messenger." "Thanks," I replied. "You did me a favor." I put the phone face down, went to the closet, pulled a duffel, filled it with enough to live elsewhere for a while. Work boots, 3 shirts, 2 pairs of jeans, basic toiletries, the spare key to the loft above my shop. I moved quiet because theater wasn't the point. When the bag was zipped, I grabbed my wallet, my truck keys, and the little dry erase marker we kept next to the calendar. I wrote on the whiteboard, "Keys on hook. Bill split. Sunday canceled." I was halfway to the door when the phone lit. "Alyssa, calling." I answered. "You saw it," she blurted. "Yep." It was a joke. "Not anymore," I said. "Don't be dramatic," she snapped. "It's one night. Yesterday you were single. Starting today you're alone," I told her, and hung up. I put the phone on Do Not Disturb, locked the door behind me, and drove to the shop. Hard silence isn't a strategy. It's a result. She walked into my shop Monday around noon with a Tupperware of brownies and the smile of a politician. The front bell chimed like it always does, and she stood there taking in the counters, the tools, the fridge with my one magnet, like she was visiting a museum exhibit called Where He Goes When He Means It. "You didn't answer all weekend," she opened. "Correct," I said, wiping my hands on a rag. "That's childish," she tried. "It's consistent," I replied. She set the container on the counter. I baked. "We can talk." "I don't eat apology sugar," I said. "You can take it with you when you go." "Mark," she said, softer. I was being silly. I took the video down. "Congratulations," I answered. "You can't unring a bell. You're really going to throw us away over a post." She crossed her arms, eyes watery enough to suggest a movie, but not enough to sell tickets. "I'm not throwing anything," I said. "You did," loudly. "It was the vibe, okay?" She searched my face. "Girls hyping each other. It wasn't about you." "It became about me when you used our marriage as a prop," I replied. "You yelled that you were single. I believed you." Her jaw tightened. "So what's the play? You sulk until I beg." "No sulking," I said. "Just decisions." "You're cruel when you go quiet," she murmured. "I'm clear," I corrected. "And we're going to keep it that way. Logistics only, via email. Money's already separated. You'll find an ACH with your share of the fixed costs. I'm off call for everything else." "You can't do this to me," she blurted. "I'm not doing anything to you," I said. "I'm doing something for me." She took a breath, recalibrated. "I can fix this." "You can't fix respect with brownies," I told her. "And you can't fix it while you're addicted to an audience. That's unfair." "It's accurate." She moved closer, dropped her voice. "What if I step back for a while? No posts. No clubs. We reset." "You don't have to sell it," I said. "Just do it. And don't announce it." "That's not how this works," she said before she caught herself. "I know," I said. "That's why I'm out." She put a hand on the counter like she needed a prop of her own. "Can we at least go to dinner tonight and talk like adults?" "We just did," I said. She blinked fast, micro-adjusting her strategy. "Fine. I'll go. But this silent treatment? It's not strength. It's petty." I pulled a card from the drawer and slid it to her. "Here's the email I made for logistics. Anything else stays unsent." She stared at the card like it was a verdict. "You can't keep this up." "Watch me," I said, then added. "And don't show up here again without emailing first. This is my workplace. Respect it." She picked up the container and the card. "You're making a mistake." "I've made plenty," I said. "This isn't one." She left with the bell chiming again, softer this time. 10 minutes later, an email arrived from her new account. "Let's discuss bills. Also, I'm going to Kayla's Thursday to help her pack." Clip attached. Kayla on a couch with boxes, posing like moving was a party. The subject line was logistics, which was a creative spelling of "I need you to see I'm still in demand." I replied with numbers and nothing else. Then I called the mover I use for the shop and booked a Saturday window to clear out the rest of my stuff from the house. If she needed a new audience, she could have it without me in the frame. Saturday came, and I walked into the house with 2 guys from the moving company and a clear list. The kitchen clock ticked loud, or maybe it just always did that when you decide to hear it. Alyssa appeared in the hallway, neat ponytail, no makeup, one of my old sweatshirts I didn't remember giving her. Different costume, same show. You brought movers, she said, as if I'd brought a marching band. I brought efficiency, I answered. I'm removing my things. I'll log the rest. You can't strip the house. I'm taking my items, I said. You can keep the couch and the dining table. I'll take the desk and the tools from the garage. Clothes, books, that old chair in the office that fits my back. The lead mover raised a hand. Sir, where do you want the boxes? Office first, I told him, then to Alyssa, we'll be in and out in 2 hours. Then a walkthrough. You don't get to dictate terms, she said, heat rising because I'd taken away the theater. I'm not dictating, I said. I'm informing. She followed me to the office. We should talk to someone, she blurted. A counselor. We can talk to whoever you want, I said, placing books into a box. But not before you respect the basic rules you intentionally broke. And not while you're trying to win an audience. I took it down, she repeated. You keep repeating the removal like it's a magic trick, I said. You're trying to convince me this was a one-off. It wasn't. It's a system you like because it feeds you. I won't be the cost of it. She leaned against the doorframe. Everyone posts. It's not a crime. It's not, I agreed. It's also not a marriage. You want me home knitting? She shot. I want you home respecting, I said. Or out respecting. Either way, respect. She pushed off the frame. Kayla thinks you're overreacting. Kayla thinks a lot, I said. She can do it somewhere, I don't have to hear it. My neighbor Mr. Patel appeared in the doorway like he'd been walking by, and the open garage made him curious. He's the kind who takes his morning paper seriously. He glanced at the boxes, at Alyssa, at me. Everything okay? He asked. Moving day, I told him. Alyssa tried to smile. Temporary. Sure, he said, too gently to be honest. If you need an extra dolly, I have one. We're good, I said. He nodded and retreated. Witnesses aren't always for drama. Sometimes they exist so you can't lie to yourself later about what happened. Back in the living room, Alyssa shifted gears again. I'm sorry, she said, low eyes glossy. I got carried away. I miss how we used to be. Maybe I've been chasing that through nights out. That's on me. I appreciate the words, I said. The action will be when you stop needing strangers to clap. I can do that, she said quickly. Delete apps, take a break. No more posts about us. You'll see. I won't, I said. Because I won't be here. You're stubborn, she said. I'm steady, I corrected. There's a difference. She watched the movers carry out the chair. We had plans, she whispered. We still do, I said. They just don't include each other. That's not what you said when we bought this place. It's what I'm saying now. She looked at the framed picture on the mantle, the one from a lake weekend when we were on the same team. I'll call your mother, she threatened gently, as if my mom would scold me into coming back. My mother respects my boundaries, I said. Call whoever you want. Her last card came out then, full sweetness. Come to dinner tonight. Just us. No phones. We'll cook. We'll talk. That's not dinner, I said. That's a performance. No, she pleaded, and for the first time it sounded real for a second. It's just us. I told you, I said. There's no us to perform. Her eyes hardened. You're cruel. I'm decisive, I said. We did the walkthrough like adults. I left the key fob for the alarm system on the hook by the door. I took my copy of the deed and the tax file. I left the picture on the mantle. It was hers if she wanted it. As I walked to the truck, Kayla's car pulled up with a trunk full of shopping bags in her mouth, already mid-opinion. This is insane, Kayla announced. You're overreacting. She was joking. Then you two can keep the joke going, I said. I'm out of the cast. Kayla huffed, arms crossed, defensive like it was her mortgage on the line. You're going to regret this. I already regret wasting this much breath, I said, and climbed into the truck. Alyssa stood on the porch, small now because audiences shrink without a camera. She didn't say another word. I didn't either. I didn't run a victory lap. I worked. I slept well in the loft above the shop because silence doesn't require negotiation. I bought a used dining set off a guy who flipped houses and didn't need it. I set up a Saturday morning routine with coffee from the corner place and a walk by the river. My phone stayed quiet except for logistics emails and occasional notes from friends who don't require explanations. Dana called it focus. Jake called it peace. Tori brought a plant for the shop and laughed that it would die under our care. It lived anyway. A month in, Alyssa tried one more angle. An email with the subject line, Olivia's dinner. Olivia is a mutual friend we both like because she doesn't collect other people's problems. The body of the email. She invited us both next Friday. Should I tell her yes? That, us both, was the tell. She needed the public confirmation I wasn't giving. I replied, I'll attend separately. Keep it cordial. She responded, so we're what? Strangers at a table? I didn't answer. I went to Olivia's dinner, shook hands, told stories that didn't require a punchline, and when Alyssa arrived in a soft dress and an even softer voice, I treated her like a neighbor, not a wife. She tried to pull me into a side conversation. Can we talk? She asked near the kitchen. We're talking, I said. No, I mean real talk, she pressed. Where we lay it out. We laid it out, I replied. You set yours in a club. I set mine with a duffel. Olivia shot me a look like she was checking if she needed to defuse a bomb. I shook my head. No fireworks. Alyssa pivoted to a friend group at the island. He moved out because I posted a silly video, she announced, packaging the narrative for consumption. I didn't take the bait. I rinsed my glass, thanked Olivia for dinner, and told the room, good night, everyone. Alyssa followed me to the door. You can't keep shutting me out, she hissed. I'm not shutting you out, I said. I'm living without you. Say you'll meet me tomorrow. Coffee. No, I said, not unkind. You'll be okay. I meant it. She would be okay. People always are when they don't have an audience telling them they won't. The last thread you cut is the one you kept telling yourself was harmless. In our case, it was the storage unit with boxes from before we moved in together. I scheduled a cleanup on a Sunday. When I pulled up, she was already there with the roll-up door open and a look like she wanted a judge and a witness. I thought we should do it together, she said. Efficient, I replied. We opened boxes. Old photos. Mugs from places we said we'd go back to. A sweatshirt from the first winter we signed the lease on a tiny apartment and felt rich because the heat worked. No sad music, no montage, just two people sorting what was theirs and what could go on a donation truck. She found a small velvet box in a stack, the original one from the ring. She held it like proof of something. Remember? She asked. I do, I said. You don't care. I care, I corrected. I'm just done. She shut the box, then popped it open again like if she repeated the action, the script would change. I took off the ring for a laugh, she said, still explaining the crime to an empty court. It felt like power for a second. I nodded once, and the second passed. She stared at me, searching for a crack. So this is it. This is it, I said. We'll sign what we need to sign when we need to sign it. For now, we're two people dividing a unit. She swallowed. You're cold. I'm measured, I said. She sat on a box. I don't know who I am without the energy. The noise. That's your work, I said. Not my assignment. She looked up. We were good once. We were respectful once, I said. That's not the same as good. She laughed then, short, surprised at herself. You always do that. Nail it with one sentence. I finally used it on the right thing, I said. We finished in an hour. I signed for the donation truck. She took a few frames and an old jacket she'd always liked on me. I didn't need it anymore. Outside, she stood by her car. If I don't text you again, will you ever reach out? No, I said. She nodded, slow. Fair. Take care of yourself, I added. Without an audience. She didn't answer. She didn't have to. Some lines close a conversation so cleanly that trying to reopen it feels like breaking something. Months later, I was in a better place than I'd thought I'd be. Not perfect, not cinematic, just simple and strong. I bought a reliable truck, the kind that starts when you ask and doesn't need praise. The shop ran smoother. Dana said the numbers liked my piece. I started running with a group on Tuesday mornings. I met Erin there, a woman who doesn't film her workouts, who shows up, runs, and brings banana bread once a month because she likes the habit. We took it slow because slow works when you're not pretending. On Sundays, I grilled on the little balcony outside the loft. Sometimes Jake stopped by, sometimes Tori did, plant still alive under her care, which she took as a personal victory. We talked about work and the river level and why the coffee shop keeps changing their seasonal menu like anyone asked. None of it needed to be posted to exist. Every now and then, I'd hear about Alyssa from people who talk, because talking is their hobby. Kayla's circle got smaller. Late nights turned into late mornings without the same echo. Alyssa took a break from posting and tried a side business that required real customers and a calendar that doesn't clap. I hoped she found a version of herself that didn't need applause to live. I meant that. When you let go cleanly, you can hope good things for people without wanting them back. The line I gave her that night, the one about yesterday and today, stayed true because it wasn't a line. It was a choice. She wanted to be single for a night. I let her have the consequence. And I kept my dignity like I keep my tools. Clean, practical, ready for work. I didn't go back. She stayed with the echo of her own declaration, which is all some people